let's talk about retail. Okay, I'm loving this. I hope that, I don't know if you like this or not. But I love that I can just record in my car and like, it's just fantastic. So, we need to talk about retail because there's so much like noise about retail, that frankly is detrimental to our industry in my opinion. And it's funny because back in the day, salons used to make more money selling retail than they did on the services. Now, I don't know about like every salon, right? But very many salons, like that was the deal. And I remember being a little girl and my mom, we went to get her hair done and I did the whole like, you know, I was an only child and I went with my mom everywhere, and the salon was somewhere that we went. My grandmother owned a salon in Arizona, and so like the salon was somewhere I was very comfortable. I was pretty well behaved, I guess. I don't know, she took me. But I remember like looking at those products like as I aged, right? Like and knew like, oh, I want that, or like I want this or whatever. And like knowing the difference, right? And knowing the difference between like that's the stuff from the salon and that's the stuff from the grocery store. And unfortunately, like we don't have that anymore because there's diversion and the internet and influencers and all of this. But when it comes to retail in the salon today, we can't look at it with the same lens that we used to, primarily because the whole world is different, right? So yes, in 2020, we all went to ordering everything online 24/7 as much as we could. And like our habits around buying things had to change, had to shift. Now, they could go back to normal. And like, I know some people really do like going in person and trying things on. And I don't know, like I'm not especially one of those people. I don't mind buying online. Like I get my groceries delivered. Like habits that I established in 2020 have really stuck with us because of ease of convenience. And I like it. Like I don't want to have to go. Like I would rather do something that I want to do than go buy groceries, right? And so, but that's because that's not something like I desire to do. That's something that for me, I have to do. Even though I love to cook and I love to eat, like, and you have to, right? There's no desire built in around having to go buy groceries. But I'm bringing it back to the salon, so stick with me. But the thing about like the products and the things that we sell in the salon, our clients bought from us any way that they could. We just didn't keep it up after 2020. We were like, oh, we're back in business and like now we're making plenty of money. But can I tell you, I was like, not that I was like a drug dealer for freaking shampoo. It felt like at the salon, like I would open the doors, it'd be all dark, and we literally paid my mortgage with retail for, it was like 30 something weeks that we were closed in California. And so retail, it has incredible power. Like your clients are washing their hair with something. They are. It's about like, how do we reclaim that energy and train our clients to buy from us again, because they care about you. And this is like one of many retail conversations that we're going to have, but clients care about you. Otherwise they wouldn't have done the shampoo drug deal in the parking lot. You know, I mean, I literally, before we had like pickup days scheduled and all of this stuff, before I had that figured out and streamlined into a system, I would meet people like wherever. Like I literally met this girl in the Target parking lot, and she's like, I'm in a red blah 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 by like this tree that looks like that, and I'm like, okay, looking for the red Prius. I'm like, hi, are you Ashley? Because like I don't know all the clients at the salon, right? These weren't my personal clients, and it's like they care. She wanted to buy that from the salon because she cared, but also because she cared about her stylist, and she knew that her stylist would still, you know, benefit from these sales and that it helped the salon. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So like we can't forget that number one component. Now let's go back to when I was a little girl in the salon. And I know you've all felt this, right? Because you've either gone to a spa or you've gone to the salon maybe before you were a stylist, or even currently, or you've gone to like a fancy store or a not fancy store, or whatever, where you've been like, oh, I want that. Like, that's cool. There's like a vibe, an energy of something that you're like, I just want to stay here forever, right? If you listen to the podcast, I've talked about the bathrooms. This is hilarious. At Pebble Beach. It's at the golf course, specifically at Spanish Bay. And it's in like the central coast of California, and it's fantastic. But you walk into Pebble Beach and you are like, I just want to stay here forever, even if you don't golf. But the bathrooms at Spanish Bay are like the dreamiest bathrooms I've ever been in. Like, I go in those bathrooms and I am inspired. Like, I think, man, they've got this hospitality nailed down. Like, there is so much about, like, every detail is thought of, and it's just, they're phenomenal. Like, they're probably like $1 gazillion to build and like to maintain and whatever, but like, that's what you're going there for, is high-end luxury. But that's the vibe. And not that I'm like, oh, I want this bathroom, but I'm like, man, I wish like my bathroom at home felt like this, right? Like, these touches are just over the top and make you feel really like luxurious. Even just like down to the way that they fold the towel for after you wash your hands, like these sort of things. And so that's the feeling that we need to create in the salon. The same way that I was watching Teresa Boris, who was my mom's hairdresser, who was from South Africa, and it was so cool and had this accent, and she cut the meanest like short stacked bob for my mom, and like, I mean, some of it was the 90s. Let's just go with that. You know, it had the mushroom thing. It's not, she looks chic, but not today. Anyhow, although that my cousin Tanner has that haircut right now, so who knows? Don't ask me. Anyways, the whole point is that I was there watching Teresa do my mom's hair and creating these works of art. And maybe you can relate to this too, because like, we all knew we wanted to be hairdressers at some point. And this is like kind of one of those like defining moments for me that I just remember. But the best part of it all was when she sprayed like that Redken hairspray, and she would just like the puff of whatever chemicals would go out, and I would just take a deep breath and be like, this is it. This is it. And I was like, Mom, I need that hairspray. I was probably like 9, you guys. And that's the desire that we need to have, because that's very different than going to the grocery store, where those habits have been completely like changed for me, because I don't want it. There's no desire there. There is so much desire around these products, and we've just forgotten the magic of that because we're too close to it. We're in it every day, and we don't see it as like a luxury item or a treat yourself item, because we go to Salon Centric and buy it for obviously less than the retail markup, and it's just accessible to us. We walk in there and it's like kid in a candy store, but like also like that's worn off too. Like, remember the first time that you went in with your license to the Salon Centric or Cosmoprof or where BSG or wherever you shop, and you were like, this is unfreaking believable. Like, I just got like the golden ticket to come in here. Clients feel that way when we make the recommendation to them and they're in the salon looking at our shelves. They do. And it doesn't have anything to do with like us and the discount. It's just that like, wow, like this is amazing. All of this is here for me, and it's all like really great stuff. So you have to put that desire component. Okay, let me tie it back to like the habit thing. So clients are trained to buy however they buy. And you're probably like, yeah, Lexi, my client whips out her phone and she says, let me take a picture of that after I make the recommendation. When that happens, that is because you have left pieces of the conversation out. We need to talk about why it's important to buy from the salon, sure. But like, more importantly, why it's important that they support us just the same way that we did in 2020. Just the same way. The same thing rings true, and honestly probably now more than ever, because all that money is gone that they were handing out in 2020. Like, there's no more, here, have some more, let me help you out. Like, now it's up to you to help yourself out, and having these conversations with clients and just expressing like how important it is that they support you and why they shouldn't buy from, you know, that app that we all use daily. But that's a habit. That's a habit. And so if you can look at that and go, okay, but we're going to retrain them, and I'm going to help them in serving them with these recommendations, etc. And how I do that is various. We can talk about that, whether that's with Salon Interactive or with various affiliate links, or maybe you have your own online store, or maybe you just only sell in the salon, which is completely fine, and you can make tons of money. But it's nice to have various pathways of cash, even within one major pathway of cash, which would be retail. Okay, so with all of that being said, like, you have to create the desire and help your clients understand. And part of the desire is them wanting to help you. It's something that I call the Advil effect. If I say, hey, I have a problem, or I have a headache, you're like, let me see if I have an Advil. Maybe I have a Tylenol. Like, here, you want to help people. Do you want a water? What do you need? Same thing, right? If you tell your clients you need something, they want to help you. All we had to do in 2020 was ask. Because they love us and they desire the things that we have. Like, they wanted their hair done. They wanted to support us and make sure that we were still there because they value us. And not in this weird, like, over the top, like, I'm not talking about that thing that has spun out of control where now we have so much power and so much value that we, like, treat our clients like crap. Like, that's not it at all. That's definitely not it. So at the end of the day, and I'll stop because it's getting kind of long, and I could talk about retail for freaking ever, and it's top of mind because I was on a panel with Salon Interactive recently. But it comes down to, come on, get over. It comes down to you just making the ask, right? And then and asking your clients, like, why do you shop on that little brown app with the blue tape over the top of it? Like, why do you want to take this picture? Do you think it's going to be cheaper? Do you don't want to take it with you today? Like, you know, what is that about? Because then if you learn, like, maybe there's something we don't know about and we can learn. But oftentimes when I've had that conversation with clients, they're like, oh, it's just like, it's what I do, and it's nice that things just, like, show up in my house. And so while that's fine, like, they're allowed to have their preference, when there is desire, or the desire shifts, right? Because they're just like, well, it's just what I do, it's a habit, and they stop and think about it, and you're like, well, it would really mean a lot for me if you would support the salon and this purchase, or myself or whatever. Their desire will shift. And not everybody, but also if you think about it, like, let me just put it this way. If you're disheartened about retail, that's a bummer. It's a real bummer because it's so incredibly powerful. But don't let, like, the few people that actually, like, pull out their phone and do the whole online 2-day shipping, next day whatever thing. Don't let the 20% of people that are actually doing that dishearten you from serving the 80% of people that are not doing that, and they're just buying their product, like, who knows where. And so it's our job, right? And that this is why when we talk about retail and services, you've got to have a system in place. You've got to have a framework that supports what you want. And that is more sales and more bookings, right? So that I use SQ to do that, and frankly, I think you should too. But this is, like, you just need to have a business plan that maps out what you're supposed to talk about, so you're not talking about one shampoo one day and a hairspray the next without rhyme or reason, because that does not get you the results. And I think that's what most people think, is that you just talk about retail. No. Like, that's not what you do. You have a business plan and you strategically put retail into the conversation, into your marketing when it is appropriate and at the right points of the customer journey, and it will change the freaking game for you. Now, if you take that and pair that with meaningful, vulnerable conversations with clients who are maybe not purchasing from you, but you know they're buying somewhere else, like, it's a literal game changer. This is what I do every day with my clients. We take your business from literally, like, not selling any retail to where people are paying their mortgage, paying their, you know, all of their expenses, or at least a good portion of their expenses with retail sales. Like, this stuff freaking matters, and I want you to take it seriously if you want to. Like, if you want more money, this is the easiest way to add pathways of cash into your business. And that's that. My window is still dirty, but now I'm at the salon. Have a great day.